podcast meant to uplift and engage BIPOC creatives who are on their journey of making a social impact and creating a lasting legacy, as well as create community and a sense of guidance for those that are looking to do the same through their artistry. Thank you so much, Leilani, for joining me.
Thank you so much, Deja.
I'm so happy you agreed to this. I'm like, I have to get some more like strong, talented women on this show. And I immediately thought of you when I thought about finishing up the rest of the season of this show.
Thank you.
Give such a beautiful energy. So I'm happy to have you here.
Thank you so much. And you do as well. Like, you're really a trailblazer. I feel like you're very proactive about supporting people, and you're also a talented actor yourself as well. So I'm honored. Thank you.
Thank you. So take me back to what made you want to be an actress and get into this business.
Okay. So a third grade play called Billy and the Bad Germs. I was doing a play, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. And my mom is also a visual artist, and my grandmother played violin and was a stage actress as well. And so they were very very supportive. And from there, a girl in my school told me about this children's theater company in Manhattan called Deja A. And I went there and I got in and started doing musical theater, and just, started working professionally and went to LaGuardia Arts High School, and it all kind of like trickled off from there, like went up from there.
Really? Did you know immediately you wanted to do it as a profession, or was it just something fun? Like, when it become like a solid, real thing for you?
I think ta-da, honestly. I don't know what it was about that school play. Like, I just knew, I felt like I loved every part of it. Like, I felt like that was what I was supposed to be doing. Why? I don't know. I was in third grade, but once I started in Tada, I feel like I had a chance. They do original musicals, and the musicals run for, I think it's like 6 weeks. And for an elementary school age, that's like a lot of rigor involved. And I just felt like I loved the feeling of getting to move an audience, and have empathy for people on stage, and it was a safe place, So yeah, I think that was really when I was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. I didn't know what professional meant, but I just was like, I want to do this,
It's that feeling. I feel like I had that same thing as a kid, where you're like, I don't quite understand it, but you want to pursue that feeling of like being on a stage and like getting a reaction from the audience and being able to like pull at heartstrings. I loved it as a kid, honestly. Now, when did writing and producing come into play? Was that something that was happening at that same time as a kid, or was that something that you discovered later on top of your acting?
So writing and producing. So writing, I always wrote as a child. I was very imaginative, growing up in Brooklyn. So I always wrote like poetry, songs, things like that. And then in high school, I think I remember that's when I had a teacher, Mr. Schiffman, and he gave us like this homework to do to write a scene. And I remember I wrote a scene, and I remember feeling very connected to the characters I had created. That was the first, point of entry. And then time went by. I went to college. Like, at Cal Arts, I studied acting, but they also had screenwriting courses there. And I remember I took one, and I remember I was just like, I just want to put this in my back pocket because I'm interested in this. And during the pandemic is where it all kind of poured out, because everybody was in lockdown, shut in. And that's really when I started to write my own work, not knowing how it was going to be produced, and wrote my first web series, and then, had people come and be like, we want to help you make it. So yeah.
Is acting and writing, are those ways of like escapism for you, or do you feel like you use a piece of yourself? You know, some people say, oh, like I don't necessarily want my acting or my writing to associate with my personal life. Or do you
Mm-hmm.
feel like in order for you to do those things, you have to use a piece of yourself and like the things that you go through and channel that through a character?
I love that question. I feel like it's a little bit of both. I think I think that initially it was very much like just whatever came to me, and I just felt like, okay, I'm getting a download of a story and I'm just gonna write it out. Um, but because I am an actor, I get invested in the characters, and then I think, especially during the pandemic, it specifically became something where it was an outlet for me to pour out an anxiety about being, stuck in the house, or uh, what was going on in the world, even just regarding like racial profiling. It did become something that was more personal during that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now there's always like the challenge and the struggle of like, ooh, this personal topic I'm facing is like scary. Do I want to write about this?
Right.
Like,
Truthful as you want to be.
how embarrassing do I need this? But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, you can dabble. It is a little form of therapy, at least for me in some ways, where I'm like, okay, how truthful do I want to be? But then I think like, oh, I get to hide behind the character a little bit. Like this isn't me. What? No.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like staying on that therapeutic talk, how do you take care of yourself as an actress in this business and like auditioning and going through the ropes of trying to get your next job and being seen in front of people?
Mm. Um, I think having a very good social circle
Mm-hmm.
is helpful. I think therapy is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having people who don't just see you as a product is important, um, because so much of acting is being. I've found it's important for me to feel like I can just be myself
Mm-hmm.
around a
Mm-hmm.
group of people. So I think my family, my friends, my partner, like all of that all together, like it all builds the healthy social
Mm-hmm.
network. And then, I mean, I am vegan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I am vegan. I mean, look, but however people choose to, whatever people choose, however you choose to eat, I think it does play a part of it. So even if you're not vegan, just like noticing how your body responds to things. And then, movement. I started dance when I was like 4, and so I've always just been like a mover. And I do yoga, as you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and I teach yoga, as you know as well. But yeah, I think all of those things, and then like just your spiritual walk. I do feel like my faith helps me stay grounded in knowing that there's just some things I can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's just some things that there are things that I can control, and then there are some things that I'm just like,
That's
okay,
out
it's
of your
not in
hands.
my hands. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not in my hands. Help me, God, with this, and like help me take my mind off of whatever might be bothering
Because so
me.
much of this career is not in our hands,
Yeah.
and I feel like for me personally, I feel like having a spiritual life is something that I can always rely on. I can
Yeah.
always go back to. I can't control if casting directors like my work. I can't control if I book that job. I can't control anything, but I can always know that I can meditate. I can talk to God. I can have moments to myself between me and the
Mhm.
above power.
Mhm.
Do you feel like you have a journaling practice? Something that you mentioned yoga. Is that something that you go back to every time you're working on a theater project or a film project? Like, how do you intertwine that with your acting practices?
It's integral.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, and I also say this like with a disclaimer because some people like strawberry ice cream, some people like chocolate ice cream,
Mm-hmm.
and I just think it's more like taking the time to know yourself and like know what how you are as an artist. I know I'm a pretty physical person, and so even if I'm working on something, I know after the film is done or even the play is done, there are things that I feel in my body,
Mm-hmm.
and like I just know that I have to in some way get it out of my body.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so yoga.
Do you have a daily routine with it? Like, is there something like you wake up at 7 in the morning and you have to go for a run? Like, what's that routine? If you have one, walk us through.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, this is great. This is my little like health and wellness nerd coming out. But yeah, I wake up. I don't really journal as much as I should, as I probably could or should. Even though one of my friends, she challenged me to do that. So I started doing that. That's great. But usually I'll wake up, maybe do some voice or breath work, like for 30 minutes, and then I try to do a lot of water during the day, so have some water, and then maybe do like I like to do yoga in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I like to stretch in the morning. I do lift weights.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the morning routine is usually yoga, water, tea, and then like having a smoothie or something like that. And it just is a nice way for me to either set my intention, meditate, like you said, on something that I feel is prominent, or going to be productive for me to attune my thoughts to before the craziness of the world and your phone and computer and everything.
I have to get
And
better
it,
at that. I've been so bad at that. Like, I don't know if it's just like the anxiety of the world is making me like doom scroll
yeah,
first thing in the morning,
yeah.
where I really want to get back into the habit of waking up and stretching and doing yoga, and I feel like even that's a discipline.
Or yeah, or sometimes I've found like recently, sometimes it's just something as simple as getting up and meditating for 5 minutes in silence. Like, I can't always do, yoga or like a workout in the morning, but sometimes I've found it's just stillness. It's just pulling back. Sometimes I will, I'll meditate on something. I'll meditate on, an affirmation or like an inspiring scripture, But sometimes I really have found it's so weird. I don't know the science behind it, but like just putting the timer on 5 minutes, sitting still on my yoga mat, eyes closed, and like, and that in a weird way, in the silence, brings me back to myself or brings me back to just the beauty that everything is as it is supposed to be right now. Nothing is perfect. Things are crazy in the world, but like in this moment, you're alive.
Mm-hmm.
So
Has
yeah.
that yoga practice led you to discover things in acting that without that practice you wouldn't have, or feel like you wouldn't have?
I think I have to say yes because of the breathing and the stretching, right? And it kind of is just like it's just one of many tools, for like self-preservation, or just taking care of your body. And I think sometimes, especially as artists, like or writers, creatives, like we're so in our world and the world that it's just nice to have tools that you feel you can come back to, and it can reground you or recenter you. And I do think that, particularly working on roles that are can be a little traumatic, you know, or the character is going through something that's very emotionally triggering. You want to be, you want to have the freedom to have that vulnerability and give yourself to that. And then you get home and you're angry. Or you get home, you get home and people are like, what's wrong?
It's like, what? All these emotions that were inside. Yeah.
Or you get home and I found a lot of times, or sometimes, based on the things that I've worked on, like, I just come back to my room, my hotel room, or my whatever it is. And I just like don't even want to talk. I just don't even. Not because I don't. It's like my energy level.
You give so much to this acting thing,
Yeah.
And like you said, sometimes you go back, to your hotel and you're sitting. You're like, wow, I didn't even know all of this was there. When you've fought so hard to be on stage and you're putting all of your eggs into this character and realizing like, oh, I haven't necessarily been, at least for me, I haven't been necessarily taking care of Deja. I've been taking care of this other character all day.
Yeah.
And now it's time for Deja to take care of those inner emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to pivot, we're talking about characters that take a lot of emotional energy. You've worked on 2 projects that focus on therapy. Shout out to my therapist, and the other project was the therapy session,
which you also were in.
Yes. You were in. Yes.
Shout out to my therapist.
Yes.
Season 2.
Season 2 coming soon. First season is on YouTube, so go watch that.
Go watch it, please.
So, what can you take from those projects? So the therapy sessions is about a couple that is pretty much trying to grapple with their relationship or the lack thereof now that the relationship is kind of falling apart. And shout out to my therapist, dealt with Black men trying to figure out their place in the world and how they want to show up. And they in both films, you could see the characters going to therapy. What can you take from those films and those projects about therapy that you still can carry with you today? What about that experience?
Oh, wow. I loved working on both of those things, by the way. I think that for me, the importance of pausing, the importance of saying the thing that you feel shame about or you feel is taboo, that you don't need to talk about it with everybody or anybody, but having the right licensed therapist or the right friend. Because in both of those, the characters that I play, or I should say the characters within those 2 pieces, sometimes they are revealing stuff to a therapist and other times they're revealing stuff to a friend or a family member. But the importance of it is that, you speak it and you name it or you get it out of you. You're not carrying it around, So I think that that's one takeaway I have. And I think another takeaway that I have is that oddly, this is weird, but like shame is just really not productive. Like it's not something that helps you move forward. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot I could say about it. I'm like thinking right now, but definitely I think those 2 things, just the importance of saying stuff out loud, claiming it, or saying it to release it, but not talking about something doesn't make it go away.
so truthful that you have to be okay with climbing over the mountain of shame. You know, shame definitely will hold us back from speaking truth to power about the things that we've gone through. And like you said, you don't have to talk about it with everyone. Like, not everyone is entitled to know what traumatic thing you went through as a child, but if it's holding you back, it's
Yeah.
definitely important to let it out. You know, if you're talking about it in your journal, if you're going to therapy, and you can see the other side of what has happened to you in your life and that you're
Yeah.
able to get through it.
Yeah.
I want to pivot to when you haven't taken care of yourself. What has been the consequences
Oh,
of that?
okay.
when you haven't done the things that you know you have to take care of yourself. When you haven't
Yeah.
done your yoga or done your fitness classes, what's been the
Yeah.
consequences of that for you?
Yeah. And, and I would just say prayer, meditation, all those things, right? All together. Um, my God. You know what's so interesting is that I find when I haven't done those things, writing becomes the thing. Creating a story, or I do find, which I don't know what that says about me, but I do find that I do get the creative little like whispers or like, nudging to write a story about this or that a lot of time when I'm not when I have not taken the time to slow down or taken the time to, invest as much in my self-care or wellness, because they kind of all bubble up. And then I'm just like, oh, I should write about this. But outside of that, you know, I think I will say this. I think for a time I didn't share with other people. I was very much a loner, and I think that was an unhealthy practice for me. I think that I was acting and stuff. I had day jobs and things, but I think that I was trying to, I don't know, cope with things or deal with things that maybe the piece had brought up, kind of just like on my own. And so I think that is not a healthy practice.
Do you feel like it impacts your performances in any way when you feel like, oh, I've just been go 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 and I haven't had the chance to like meditate? Do you think that interferes with any like performance elements or any but that's interesting that it actually makes you more creative in
It
a
is
way.
very, yes. This is the artist's dilemma, because I feel like part of it is the craziness or the franticness or the whatever it is, the issue, the problem does spark the creativity.
He's like, I just gotta get it out. Where's my pen and paper? Where's the laptop?
Maybe I should just have an awful life. It'll be amazing.
The stories will be impactful.
They'll be genius. Throw it at me, life.
Right.
Here I am. No.
I love it.
No. Yeah, it is interesting. It is kind of weird and kooky. But I think that's just like part of the balancing act. Like I feel like the saying, like, to be an artist, you don't need to be a starving artist. You can be healthy. And I think that's just something that like comes with time. But I do think that it does affect your performance, and I won't say it's necessarily for the worse. Like I think sometimes it can make for a great performance, but then what are you sacrificing when you get home? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think having balance is always best. Like have a sucky performance. I think that's also the brilliance of like what we do in terms of being creatives and making art. We're just making art. The business side of it is the business side of it. But to just have your creative muscle going, and it's always, you always want to come back to the place where you're like, and it can suck.
And it's okay.
And it's okay. You know what I mean? But it can suck but I'm okay.
Ooh, I'm okay. And I feel like
I'm
as
okay.
artists, we take it, it's like, you know, we hold on to it and we're doing brain surgery and it's just like the worst. I didn't get that role. That thing didn't happen.
Or
It's the
tonight,
end of the world.
tonight on the stage, I wasn't, and I wanted, and it didn't.
I didn't say the right line. Didn't say the. It was the. I said the. And just I missed a line. Yeah, yeah. We take it too hard and we'll let us rot from the inside out. But really, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
You can have a bad performance. You cannot book something.
Yeah.
But you, at the end of the day, you are taken care of. You are loved.
Yeah.
You're not any less great because you didn't get the right line or the role went to someone else.
Yeah.
Like what's for you is for you, you know?
Exactly. And who are you becoming? You know, who are you while you're doing it, you know? And that's why I do think I come back to the people you have in your life, because it's cool to have people that love your work, love, you know, you, the product. That's normal. But I don't know, I just find like as a part of the package of taking care of yourself as an artist, knowing and taking the time to really see who is in your life that you feel you don't need to be the product for, you know, and that changes because you change with time, but that is really important, I find.
You could take the mask off. That community is really going to be the thing that helps uplift you.
Yeah.
Things are not okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or things are just boring. Like, you know,
yeah.
You just Netflix and chill. Like, things are just whatever, you know, and that's, it's not about what you're doing. It's about who you are to them, and they see you and they make you feel seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, so, yeah, all those things.
Looking back early on in your life as an actor or just as a person, what things do you wish you had known about self-care earlier? Like, if I had just only knew this then.
Wow. I think that the words I say to myself may be the only words that matter in terms of, like, it's not to say that it's the only thing that matters, but just how important it is, you know. Yeah, I think that being a person of faith and, like, growing up, you know, there's a lot of emphasis on, like, well, you know, this is what God thinks about you and you're great, you know, and I've been so blessed to have a loving family. But I think that it took me some time to really see that you can be surrounded by love, but what are you saying to yourself? Like, what is the vision that I'm having of myself in this moment, you know, or for the future? Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
That's what really matters is how you view yourself. I feel like this industry, people are always putting what they think of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you go into an audition, you're immediately being judged within the first 5 seconds. You're always having to present yourself. And so I love that you said, like, the words that you say to yourself.
Yeah, and then like writing your own stuff. It's scary. Like, you know, I don't know if it'll ever stop being scary to me. Like, writing and producing your own stuff, because there's nobody you can point to, you know, so
it's coming from you.
It's all coming from you. So even that process, you know, there's a point in time where you just want to give up and you just want to be like, this is garbage. I mean, like, this is trash. Seriously? Nobody's seen it.
Right.
No, there's no point for you to be saying this, but you're just like, this is trash, you know, because you've sat in your room like for a year or whatever, you know, doing this. But I think at that point it's when you really have to to turn up the volume on speaking the positive things to yourself or whatever, you
Ooh,
know.
I need that all the time because I'm writing right now, and honestly, I want to airball into the trash can my scripts, just like straight Jordan slam into the garbage. But I have to ease up and be gentle with myself because you can't edit from a blank page, right? So you have to be able to be open and be honest with yourself and say, this is me, this is what I'm putting on a page, and you can always go back
Yes.
and rework
Can
it.
I rewind? Can I take it back?
Yeah, yeah.
As opposed to that, I want to. I got a better one because you said used the word. I think it would be to be gentle with myself.
Ooh. Mhm.
I think that that's even more so. I think that looking back at how I was like growing up, and I don't know. I tell everybody this that's close to me. Like when I was in school, I don't know why. I just wanted to be seen as professional. What
Mhm.
is this? I don't know. But I think that hindsight now, I would tell her, ease up, be gentle, be more gentle on yourself. It's gonna be fine. Like you're gonna be fine. Um, yeah.
Yeah. What advice would you give to the next wave of young writers and actors coming into the industry?
Hmm. Um. So there's so I'm smiling now. There's somebody that I had an awesome opportunity to like learn from. His name is Victor Cruz, and this kind of comes from him a little bit. Also worked with Ben Harney. He's also really great. So maybe it's like a combination from both of them. But you already have everything you need to write the story, you know, or to do the part, um, which I think is so revolutionary and really daring. But that you already have everything you uniquely need because it's coming from you. And if you've been cast in it for whatever reason, they specifically cast you. Um, and so there's nobody like you. There never will be anybody like you. Um, and so just to whatever your natural instincts are, like whatever your natural abilities are, like walk in the room feeling complete in that. The job will be done because it's already there. You already have everything you need. And whoever is supposed to come and help you, they'll be attracted to it because of you. Like they'll be attracted, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll come. You will attract whoever you need. But yeah, just to trust that your story, your voice, your talent, your weirdness, like it's all there. It's all enough. It's enough.
Love that.
Yeah.
So, what's next for you?
What's next for me? There are a few things that are supposed to come out. I'm waiting for them to come out. And then right now I'm writing two pieces.
Beautiful.
I'm writing two pieces. So yeah.
And where can people find you?
They can find me all over the world. No, I'm just kidding. They can find me on Instagram at Leilani Rosine, and I have a Facebook page, Leilani Rosine, as well. But yeah, on Instagram at Leilani Rosine, and then the film What Exists is at What Exists the Film. My film production company is at Caliber Films. So yes.
Beautiful. I love this.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of Crafted and Creative. Give us a like on iTunes, watch and subscribe on YouTube, and I will see you all in the next episode.